Hello, my name is Cassie and welcome back to my Read and Be Crafty channel, all about cross stitch and my various hobbies. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch, but I do go into tangents about knitting and now quilting. I'll more that on that later, but thank you if you subscribed, and thank you for coming back. If you're new, hi, nice to meet you, and I hope you stay. I'm swaying in my chair. I'm so nervous. My name is Cassie. I go by she, they, and I'm currently residing in Regina, Canada. And I really just wanted to jump into my projects, my cross stitch right now. So let's get into it. So it's been a year. It's been a year since I started this. So all the details will be in the description down below. I've been contemplating doing a Google form, like I have a few other people been putting all their information in, so I don't have to type it out every time. That is something I'll contemplate. But right now, this is a Gecko Rouge, the Mermaid, by Medusa Dollmaker. This is on 18 count with the kit Flosses, and this is where I've got to. There will probably be a direct comparison with showing up on screen. But you can see I have done some work in here and I'm hating it. The gold is really confetti. And so I've been kind of contemplating moving the Q-snap and just going across to this area where it's less confetti. It's green, like confetti green, but it's like you can get long strips of the same color, so it's not as confetti. So I'm contemplating going across, but the gold eventually has to be done. So let me just pull up my pattern keeper on my phone to figure out how far I am along with this. I started this a year ago in November, so this is a year's worth of progress. It's hiding in the Q-snap, but I'm not taking it off. All this fabric is contained. Right now, I am 27.62% done. Like, that is astounding for me, I think. Like 27%. So if I keep up this pace, which I'm starting to feel the burnout on, but I'm hoping it's just because I don't want to do the gold. And I do not know where my needle is now. Great. But yeah, 27% done. I'll probably put the stitch number up here. But that's the Mermaid. I'm really happy with how much I've done on this. I'll put that aside. And my last video, I talked about a whole bunch of starts that I have done, and a few of those starts I have completed and fully finished object, FFO. So this is Tiny Stitches, Two Sisters on a Terrace. There's some history with it in my family. So this is a Christmas gift. They're not gonna watch this video, but this is a Christmas gift. Tiny Stitches. Don't look too closely at the hand, but other than that, that is fully finished. I had to find double-sided tape to put that in there. And then there's the, I'm doing it twice because it was so easy and so fast. It's like airplane stitching practically for me. I was doing some traveling and this was airplane stitching. The back stitch hasn't been done yet, but it's so faint, the back stitching. Like you can't really, there's some back stitching on the face and the hands. But I have another frame of this from Michael's, so this is where it's gonna go. this is fully finished as well. It was a start and finish. Both of these were start and finish. So I'm really happy. Now, why do I have another needle minder on the back of this one? Oh, I'm contemplating on buying more magnets. So these magnets on the back of these are, so I made this. I dremeled off the pen and then I glued on sewing magnets from KJ Magnetics. These are sewing magnets. So you put them in clothes and they click together. So there's a less chance of it like breaking, like the regular magnets, like the high rare earth magnets. They chip if they snap together. These ones don't because they're covered in a casing. And they're really hard to pull apart unless there's a plastic separator that they come with, and I glued that on as well. And it's really easy to pull off. But I'm buying more of these. So that's why they're probably all over the place. It's like I need to figure out which size I wanted, etc. And then another whip, work in progress, is Witchy Stitcher Witchcraft Wood Cut. Still in the Q-snap. This is very nice black, easy stitching for me. So you can see that I finished this side. There's, like, again, more pictures will show where I was last with it. So you can see the progress. Pattern keeper's not going to be any help here because the pattern was a picture. So that's that. Witchy Stitcher, Witchcraft Wood Cut. And then, oh, another finished. I'm just digging through my piles of, this is an impromptu start to video because I promised a video in November and work is going to get crazy in the next couple weeks. And I was like, better do it today if I'm going to do it. So this is I want to say Linen Studios Resistance is Futile pattern. I'll put the actual designer here, but this is finished. This is on a 18 count that I dyed myself with the call for Flosses. I'm probably going to put it in this hoop. Well, that seems too big now, does it? Maybe not. Yeah, maybe I got this thinking that I was going to get it in here, but it's just barely big enough to fit in this hoop. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. If you have any suggestions on what I should do with this, let me know. But, yeah. So that is that one. That's completely finished. A lot of Halloween stitching from the starts. And then this is, you've probably seen this everywhere. I'll take it out of the hoop. This is Lola Crow stitches. They're the Haunted Library cell. It is finished. It's been released in its entirety, and it was hard to keep up, but there we go. Like, I came in like maybe week 4. I was like, okay, this enough of this pattern has been released that I am interested in going through with it. Like, I haven't done any of the books because I don't like the colors of the books. Like, so I'll probably change out the colors of the books for something a bit more muted. Like the blue that, let me grab the floss. So this is a blue that is for the books. This is DMC 3809. It's too blue. Same with one of these. It's one of these is the book color, and I'm like, it's too orange. So I'm probably gonna find a deeper green and probably find a different brown, maybe more reddish brown, just to make it more a muted palette personally, even though I know it's going to go into a lot of confetti because you're stitching a lot. It's just a small amount in one book. But the only other changes I have made to this is that all the blanc, all the white, is glow in the dark. I haven't tested it out myself, but might as well, right? Haunted library, candles that glow, and a cat that is glow in the dark, and a decapitated head of Edgar Allan Poe. You can't go wrong with that. So you can see where I was working with part 3 into Paddock Keeper, and then now you can see where I stopped, and then I go back up here, and now I have part 10, all of them. Now you can see I'm starting to work into the head of this, and then go from there. I'm probably not going to do the dreaming aspect down here with I don't know if I want to say this because of spoilers, but you've probably seen all of it. Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein, the mother of sci-fi, horror, or depending on how you view or who did what. But yeah, I'm working on that. Getting tired of the brown for me. That's because I was like, I'm not doing the books until I figure out the colors. And that's why you don't see books here. But yeah. So that is Haunted Library. This is on a Mummy Wraps 16 or 18 count from Ship's Manor. I really love the aged look of it. I don't think I started it last video, so that's that. And then all the other projects I will start, I said, last video is still sitting here, waited to be fully kitted up and started. So the Poison Garden by the Witchy Stitcher from the Starlight Stitchery box, not yet started. The Arranging Seashells by Ink Star Circles, not started. Like, I have a fear of starting things for whatever reason. But that is all my cross stitch so far. Just breeze through that. That is totally fine because I do not have time to edit an hour video. I could look behind me because I have a few projects behind me, and I am slightly scared because I've gotten into the realm of another hobby, quilting. But first I'll talk about my lean over here. So Stephen West Mystery Knit-Along, Twists and Turns. I started it and then I kind of stopped it because I'm going home for over the holidays and I can't pack too much, and I thought this was the perfect project to bring with me because I'm going home for 2 weeks and a half. So it's like, this is the perfect project to kind of like bring with me, to have one project for all of that time. I'll still bring some cross stitch, but this is the perfect project, I thought. It's in a nice little bag, lots of books on it. But I've done part 1 and I'm now moving my way into part 2. And this is where I am with that. Make sure my needles are good. There you go. So much knitting. Like so like after a couple rows, you kind of trying to get it, and then you're like, okay, now I have to move to this side. So this is part 2. The short turns. There's where I am with that. So a few more rows of this, and then I need to go to the other side. But these are the colors. Like, I was contemplating throwing white as the contrast color, but as soon as I saw all the parts come out, I was like, white is too bright for my taste as a contrast. But black was perfect. So this is what I have to say the yarn of what it is. Oh my goodness. I did say it last time in the last video, so I'm actually just going to put it here or put it in the description down below, because this came from Yarn Over, a company that just opened here in Regina, and it was a local dyer, and I really love her yarn. It's like, I don't want to call it tweed, but it's got pops of color, and then sometimes it's not completely uniform, and I really enjoy that. It's like rustic. And then the black is a Paton, the company's Paton, and it was the only figurine that I could find in Michael's. And then where's the gray? Oh, the gray is behind me and not in this bag, which I have to remember when I take this with me. So the gray is it's called London Fog by Red Fox Designs. They're a company that was in Calgary. They closed, and she now operates a store in the Rocky Mountain House, I think. But it was Red Fox Designs, London Fog. It was in another project, which I have given up and ripped. And now I have multiple balls lying around of this. And I thought it was perfect. So let's show that off one more time. Can't believe it. Like, I think I have this in here because I showed it last time. Or I was using it to indicate the increases, possibly. But you know, the light is so much better cooperating. So like after I was editing everything, editing the last video, it was like, that's when it really clicked that it was the light changing outside and I don't have curtains. Naive little me. Like so many things you learn as you do this. So that's the knitting. That is the only knitting I have been doing. I have put some work into the other blue one picture. I have done more on the sleeve of that. I'll see when there'll be a point where it's like, okay, this sleeve is long enough, let's cut it off. Okay. But that's the only knitting. That is the only crochet. Yeah, that is all I have done craft-wise with knitting. I, however, have been influenced by Museum Stitcher. She was talking about Sewcialities too. However you say it, from Fat Quarter Shop, and I was been debating getting into quilting, but as soon as she said there's videos and live streams of them going through the steps of making the block, I was sold. So I went to Peach Tree Quilting Shop here in Regina, got a whole bunch of fabric to make the 9-inch blocks. Because I'm not gonna go for the 3-inch. I'm going for the not 6-inch. I'm going for the 9-inch. And I was not going for something that was samplerly. Is that even a word? This was like a week after Halloween. No, 2 days after Halloween that I was influenced to do this. So everything in Halloween was been moved. Christmas was out. So everything Halloween I looked, and I was going for a dark, moody fabric. And lo and behold, that's what I'm coming up with. And when I went back to Calgary, I checked out some of their quilting stores. So Out of Hand in Calgary and Rick Rack Textiles are the two places that I also found more Halloween-ish kind of fabric. And I'm going to make a quilt. So you saw myself looking behind here because that's where my stack of fabric is. It's like you can see the tops here. That was where my stack of fabric is right now. I just spent this morning starching the first block. Like Sewcialities, like the pattern, the first 2 blocks are an expert, and I'm like, nope. And now block 4 has come out, and that is like beginner, and I'm like, yes, this is a beginner. I need to start with this. So I pulled the fabric for that, starched it. Starching is a process, is it now? But let me show you the fabric. Okay. Okay, so these are mostly all my blacks. So let's see if I can do it this way. Yeah, let's do that. So, of course, I found this. Yeah, getting that. So the ones that have been starched are still sitting over there, and I'm not going to bring them out. So you'll just be missing a couple colors. So now we're getting to colors. I'm unsure about this. It's very puke green. We'll see about that. But I got, it's like orange and black, and a little bit of, this is black cats. So I have this in black as well, and that's over there being starched. So this wasn't a fat quarter bundle. I just picked a whole bunch and pulled a whole bunch. It's wearing the reds. So this was made from this was fabric left over from my banyan. It's in one of the videos. My one sewing project that I actually was very proud of. And this is left over of that, and I saw it and I was like, oh, this actually could work for that. Bright orange. We'll see if I deal with that. This is actually Christmas. I'm kind of contemplating not using that one. Okay, into the grays now. I got this pile. I was about to teeter onto my laptop. This one I'm kind of unsure. Like Sewcialities with the pattern is not really for big patterns. That's all the fabric so far. There's the oh, let me actually grab the background. They just gave me the bolt. So it's white, but you can very faintly see, yes, you can see at the bone in here, skulls. So to contrast with all the black that I've gotten. So Peachtree employees they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. And they have really influenced me in trying to go for the quilting direction. Like the few quilting stores I have been in the past, the employees just throw me off. Like they almost threw me out of cross stitch until I've encountered cross stitch on Flosstube. Same thing with quilting. It's like there's some people in quilting stores don't really take you seriously because you look young, or they just have an attitude that is, anyways. But Peachtree was amazing. Peachtree employees, they're amazing. They have amazing fabric as well. And now attempting to do quilting. They had classes that, of course, were during my work time, so I can't attend those classes, but hopefully in the winter I can attend one. But that's my quilt so far. We'll see how I go on about that. But my plans to finish up that Sisters on a Terrace by Tiny Stitches. Finish that up because that's a Christmas gift. I might not touch